I'm going to introduce my guest in a minute. If you like this show, please share or comment. Email me with suggestions. I'm going to put up my email address, and also watch it on Facebook Live, Laila White, or Live by Laila on Facebook. I have with me Wesley Can. I'm going to call him Wesley. Wesley is an incredible individual. He has severe cerebral palsy. I met Wesley and I bought his book. So his book is an amazing story, which I'm going to share with you. Without further ado, I'm going to have Wesley on board. Wesley, welcome to my show. I am here to tell your story, to spread your story. Lorena is Wesley's husband. Welcome to the show, Wesley.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So Wesley, your nickname is also John Boy. So you got so many names.
Yeah. Yes, my grandmother called me. He said.
Your grandmother gave you that name. Fantastic. So I must confess, Wesley, when Rena Martinez approached me to do this show, I was a bit apprehensive. Nothing to do with you, but it's got to do with how am I gonna help you voice your story. I don't have subtitles. I want to really be fair, because you have an incredible journey of your life. But I met your wife, Lorena, and she is the voice. She can understand you. She can voice out on your behalf. But I have to say, after 15 minutes knowing you, I could read your lips, your mouth, and then I could understand what you say. And you really have a great sense of humor. So I beg you, audience, to listen up. And because I think at the end of this show, you will be very, very grateful that you have known parts of Wesley's life. Okay, Wesley, let's get to the story. Okay, it was very difficult for me to read. I read the book. I do not want it to promote like you can finish the book in one day, because it's really unfair. It's a lot of emotional turmoil. It's a lot to digest, because the things that you went through in your life was very harsh. But at the end of it, and I sit with you, and your sense of humor and your outlook of life is incredible. I do not want. I do not want people to just read the book for the sake of reading. We need to read it. We need to let it sink in and fill with emotions, because this is a tough book to read. But I had to read it within a day, because I want to understand what our angle is. So let's talk about your childhood, Wesley. This is the book. It's called Finding Happiness Against the Odds, guys. I will send you a link where you can buy the book from Wesley. So let's talk about your childhood. Let's talk about the traumatic childhood first, before we start on the happy childhood, right? So Wesley, tell me about your growing up as a child.
I was born with cerebral palsy. I could not eat. I could not walk.
Okay, Lorena, you have to speak up louder, please.
Okay, Wesley have an uncontrollable flexes. His hands are closed. Normally it's closed. He could not eat. He could not feed himself. He could not bathe himself. He could not put his clothes on. But if he tries, since I was not at the picture, he can do it. But it will take hours for him to do that. But I mean, to be independent, he has to learn. To do everything for himself. But his childhood is very tough. But then again, he learned how to do things for himself.
Okay, Wesley, when you were growing up, talk about how your childhood as a child with parents that looked at you, and how let's talk about experiences. Okay, I read the book, so let's talk about the experiences. There was one part that you said that you were left at home most of the time by yourself, because and you can't move, right? You were left with urine and feces because you couldn't go to the toilet, and it was very difficult for you to make it to the toilet. Can you share with us what was that experience like?
I feel hopeless.
I feel.
Hopeless. Hopeless.
I don't understand. But he feels very sad about it. He feels hopeless. He feels hopeless. He feels hopeless.
Okay, Loria, you gotta really come close so I can hear you. So he feels hopeless. So when there was one incident that I read when his mom came back and she was very unhappy. I need you to talk about that. I know it's very difficult, Wesley, but you have written this book and we need to hear parts of the story.
Okay.
He came back from the market.
He went to the market. She went to the market.
He came back
She came back
to the
and see me on the
when
floor.
when you opened the door.
When she opened the door,
I feel everywhere.
my pee and poo is everywhere.
He did.
She gets angry.
He finished.
She beats me.
He carried me
She carried me.
in the door.
She grabbed him in the arm and took him in the toilet and clean him up. And then
Okay.
later she would bring him to bed. But before that, he's full of bruises and blood everywhere because of yeah.
So Wesley, I understand also you have parents and you also have siblings. I'm not here to judge anybody's life. I'm just shocked at the story that you told. As parents, we are the creator of children, but we are also supposed to look after our kids. And there are so many incidents, like you in your book, you talk about there's no food because you can't feed yourself, and you were only given food only certain times, and you were not allowed out when you have guests. How did that make you feel, Wesley?
I feel sad
I feel sad
because why my family treat me like this.
because why my family treat me like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that you deserve to be loved, Wesley?
Yeah,
Yes,
Why?
because I'm no animal.
because I am not an animal.
I'm a human being.
I'm a human being.
I feel
I have feeling.
But Wesley, even animals, they treat each other well. So we can't even say you're not an animal.
I
Um,
feel
I have feeling.
Animals have feelings too. So we all have feelings. I think that we have to take care of each other as a living thing. Let's talk about the surgery that because your family didn't take time to understand what you say. You feel, I speak for you because I read the book. You almost feel trapped in your body because you can't voice. People don't take the time to understand you. Let's talk about the surgery that you didn't want. So you were forced to walk, even though it was painful, but you wanted to make your parents proud, your fathers proud. So let's talk about that night when you heard that they wanted you to have a surgery.
I feel sad.
I feel
Yes,
bad.
I feel sad. I feel this.
Oh, I feel sad. Sorry. Okay. What?
Because
Because
I can walk.
because I can walk because I can walk already, but not very well.
But
But
I know my mother wants me to go.
but my mother wants me to
Go.
go.
Go. I cannot do
I
it.
cannot do anything.
Um, yeah. Yeah, so this is one of the interviews that I'm mostly lost for words. So I want to thank Richard Henderson. This is a beautiful interview. So after the surgery, Wesley, could you walk better? Was there an improvement?
I could walk too much,
I can walk for 2 months,
but no more.
but after 2 months, no more. I'm in my
Why
wheelchair.
is, why is that?
Why?
Because I feel tired.
Because I feel tired.
But Wesley,
I
from the book,
I
I'm
use
sorry.
the water.
I use a walker.
So is it more painful after the surgery, Wesley?
Yeah.
Yes.
So okay, wow, okay. I want to talk about helplessness. We all, have helplessness. I can imagine a million times for people with disabilities. I want to talk about how at your lowest point, you know, you tried to commit suicide 4 times. Once was you cut your wrist, and you cut your wrist, and you, because you heard the voice of your mother saying you're no good, I wish you would die, and all those negative things, and you woke up and you thought you have died and feel at peace, but you were in a hospital. And then the second one, I'm just going to talk about what you did when you tried to commit suicide, and I want to hear your feelings. The second one was you took Panadol, right? And you took about 40 Panadols just to end your life, but you didn't pass away. You woke up, thank God for that. And then you had a meeting with a doctor, and he wanted to send you to IMH. And all you could think about was, I am not crazy. And you promised him. So let's talk about your promise to the doctor, so you won't be sent to IMH. IMH is Institute of Mental Hospital.
Yeah. I think it.
I am very scared
Because I know that.
because
I know that.
I I what?
I know that.
I am not crazy.
Mad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm mad. Yeah,
Because I feel.
because I feel. You feel what? You feel what?
Buddha. 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 Buddha.
Burn.
Buddha. B. U. N. U. N.
N.
D.
The,
E. R. Yeah.
BUNER. What's that?
Buddha.
Burn. I don't understand.
Buddha.
Sorry.
Burden.
Burden. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
You feel burdened. You feel that, yeah, you feel that you are a burden to your family, right? So that's why you committed to this. Try. I'm so proud of you, Wesley, because people that have 1/8 or 1/12 of what they go through is nothing compared to yours. And I totally applaud you for being who you are now, because it's just hard. It's hard. We all know what hard is, but we have no idea after reading your book.
Yeah, that's good.
So if you talk about that promise that you do not, because it was a blessing in disguise, because for it to happen and you promise you do not want to go to mental institute keeps you alive today. And I'm so glad, I'm so proud to know you and let me be part of your life as a person that I just met. So I want people to read the book, Finding Happiness by Wesley Can. That is the name that he gave himself. If he can do it, we all can do it too. So it's a lot of stuff that went into this book, guys. You know, the abuse, the sitting outside of the house because he can't open the key. He was left outside to sleep. I had to wait for neighbors to come and open the door for him. And you also have to remember, in Singapore, many years ago, they don't have lifts on every floor. So he had to be carried to the next lift, the next level to get to a lift. So he is trapped. Wesley felt trapped. He felt embarrassed because he was a burden. And every day he faced, you are no good, you know, what's wrong with you? You are stupid, you are dumb.
He cried every day. He cried every day.
Yeah, Wesley cried every single day. So let's switch it up a bit, Wesley. Your good times. Let's talk about childhood good times. Who was the person that you love and you feel the first love?
My grandmother.
Bless her, bless her. Tell me about some of the stories that your grandmother would do with you.
Every morning, she wake up 4:30. She prepare for me breakfast. She would wake me up 5:30, and then she will give me a shower. I don't understand. Okay, she give me breakfast after shower, and then later on after we eat, we wait for the bus. We go. I go to study. So every day, she he, the grandmother would wake up at 4:30, prepare for him breakfast, and then 5 o'clock, the grandmother would wake him up and prepare breakfast for him. Then later on, he would get dressed and go to school, wait for the bus. That's our
Wow.
everyday stuff every day.
Well, I wish
It,
somebody would feed me now, Wesley, and send me back to school. Okay, but Wesley, let's talk about the school, because it's very interesting, because you were not allowed to go to school because you were considered useless. I want to hang on a second, Wesley. I want to thank Rosalind for the question. I am going to answer all the comments at the end of the show, so please keep it coming. So you were not allowed to go to school, and you met this angel. You have met a few people in your life that has created positiveness. You met this angel Kim. So tell us about that. How she introduced you to school. Let's talk about Kim.
when you met him. One day, I asked my friend to make email for me. That is the time when he stopped studying. After 6 years, he stopped studying. But he asked his friend to make a letter for him to put in the internet. What the letter says? I want to study. Who can help me? That's what it says in the letter. And so the friend put that in the internet, and one day someone knocked at the door, and then when I opened the door, that's Kim, the most special someone in his life.
So Kim met you at the age of 14 when you were 14,
Yeah.
Yes.
and now you are 38. So Kim is
Yes.
still in your life.
Yeah.
What an How incredible is that? I mean, I'm amazed at Kim reaching out to you. You know, I wish Kim will come and say hello from the background, but I know Kim insists that this is your show, this is your story. Um, so
Oh,
Kim's
may I say something? Kim
sure.
has been paying Wesley's phone since he was 14 up to now. So isn't that amazing?
Yeah, yep. She's truly amazing. I am shocked. No, I'm not shocked. I am enriched. I feel so good when I read the stories about all the people that have helped Wesley.
She's been with us
So
all the time. Yeah, she's been with us all the time. She would help us to some things that we need. Yeah, amazing. I praise God for that. I praise God for
yeah.
for
So let's talk about your wheelchair's experiences. The wheelchair that breaks down and you didn't have any income to do. So let's talk about you call it now. You have a wheelchair that was donated, if I'm not mistaken, and it's your Mercedes Benz. You call it, right?
yes.
So let's talk about the Mercedes Benz. Why
Very
is it so
expensive.
important? Yeah. So tell me about this, Wesley. Your Mercedes Benz. What did it give you? What does it mean to you having the wheelchair that you can move around freely?
They are my 2 feet, my 2 legs.
You know, you know.
I can go anywhere
Through it, I can go anywhere,
I want.
anywhere I want.
So I remember in your book you said that most of the time you are in the house, in your parents' house, and you feel trapped. You can't go anywhere because nobody
Oh,
actually want to take you somewhere. Now that you have a wheelchair, the freedom that you feel is incredible.
Yeah.
Yes, Lauren. Yeah.
yeah. Sorry. We are talking about the time when he has the electronical wheelchair. But during
Correct.
the time when he have this manual wheelchair, of course he cannot go anywhere. He would always stay at the house. Yeah. So
Yeah, if I stay in my house for 1 hour, I feel insane. Just
right.
imagine, Wesley, you are in day out with negativity,
Yes.
saying that you're no good, and just negative. So let's talk about what the other thing is. I have a phobia of water, but I hope people won't use this so they can drown me. You talk about you swim at school. You had
Hello,
therapists that.
can you see me?
Hello.
I just bought his book. It's really great. I don't know what you're doing, but I bought just his book. It's super. Thank
Fantastic,
you.
fantastic. You will enjoy it and you will cry your heart out at the same time. So let's talk about your swimming. When you had therapists and you were so happy because at the school you felt accepted. You felt not like an alien, like a burden. And they took you swimming and you felt you were scared. Let's talk about the good part of the happiness in the water. And then I want to ask you why you were afraid of water.
Why were you afraid of the water?
Ego, my father,
Because of my father
put my head water
put my head in the water
every day.
every day.
He don't, he don't,
If
he don't do anything.
if I do exercise and I can't do
I cannot do anything.
and I cannot do
He
exercise,
put me down.
he took me to the toilet and put my head in the water, in the pail full of water, upside down.
Yeah, let me read a bit of that phrase because I could not wrap my head around it. If I'm sorry, Wesley. Let me just read what you wrote. Okay. One night he dragged me across the hard floor whilst I screamed and wailed. Ignoring me, he continued to drag me into the bathroom. And only afterwards did I realize what my father had meant by his threats about the toilet. I saw a big green garbage tub filled with water in the bathroom and was confused and scared. My father was fit and strong while I was a frail, underweight child. He grabbed me tightly around my ankle and lifted me off the floor until I was upside down. I remember struggling weakly in his hands. He held me above the tub and lowered me head first into it, using his other hand to hold my head under the water as I struggled. I could feel the water filling my nose and mouth and experienced the terror of not being able to breathe before he lifted me out and let me gasp for some air. As soon as I was able to take some gasping breaths, he would lower me back again. Yeah, so having faced that childhood fear, I salute you for even going in the water and swimming and putting aside your fear, what you face, and actually and find freedom in water and freedom of facing your fear. Is that how you felt about it, being in the water?
Yeah. Yeah.
At first, when I took Wesley into the water, that is the very first time since then. The very first time in the beach in the Philippines. While you are reading, I want to cry. I want to cry of that. I remember when we're still doing the. I remember when we're still writing the story, and Wesley was teary-eyed when he's telling me that to write, because whenever he felt tired of writing, I would continue to write, but he would tell me what to write. So yeah. Anyway, at first when I took him into the water, he is shaking, but I always tell him that all the friends are here, the members of the family are here surrounding him in the water. We are at the beach, and I put a ring on his body. That was the photo in his Facebook page. That was a photo. And he is shaking for 1 to 2 hours. He's shaking. But I told him that don't worry, all the friends and the family are surrounding you in the water. You'll be okay. I will be here, and everyone is here for you. And so then he uh, he he started to feel good, but that is after 1 to 2 hours because he is shaking. I think it's because of the trauma in water. But later on, yeah, in the photo in the Facebook, he is really having fun, and yeah, I love to see him smiling in the water and playing his arms and legs in the water. Like yeah, I see him like a baby in the water. So
That's
I'm
good.
happy.
Yeah, because like I said, I still have fearful of the water. I want to ask you, Wesley, what do you want people's view? How do you want people's view to change about people with disability? How do you want people to see people with a disability?
I want people to be able
I want people
to
to feel
like normal.
to feel that we are to act like normal.
You are
To be
normal.
normal. Yes, normal.
Yeah, normal.
Yes.
But kind of what we need.
Yeah, but we only cannot walk. But I want them to treat us normal, like we do.
Yeah. So Wesley, your job, you hate hands out. You hate people giving you money for no reason. You try so hard to work when you were young. School was stopped because your grandmother passed away. So you tried means to find a job in Singapore. So, but you are 38 and you're selling tissue papers in Ang Mo Kio. And the law says that you have to be 40 years old to have life. Not sure, but that's what I read from your book. So you have sought help, and your only, you were so surprised when Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong wrote to you. And at that time, you also have been married to Lorena. And because she's from the Philippines, it was difficult for her to get a pass to stay in Singapore. So tell us what the Prime Minister did for you.
I emailed him. I asked him for help for my wife because I married her in Singapore. Because I married her in Singapore. You know Singapore law. It's not easy to stay here. You need a pass to stay here.
I know what to do.
But I don't know what to do.
Only
way I email PM Lee. And he helped me.
So he helped you by giving you a license, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just, he gave, instead of 38, he gave you the license to, and also he made it work for Lorena to stay with you with a long term pass, because Lorena is the only one that is looking after you, and you need care 24 hours. I want to talk about this experience when you were I mean, we all are a bunch of idiots, people, human beings. We are idiots. We should be ashamed of ourselves. Like there was an experience when you said that you were selling tissue papers and somebody gave you $2, and you were so in gratitude that you wanted to give more tissue paper, but that person thought you wanted more money. How did that make you feel?
I feel bad.
I feel bad.
I never asked for money.
Because I never asked for money.
And I want to give more tissue paper.
So I want to give her more tissue paper.
Wesley, we should be ashamed of ourselves. We really do. I mean, I'm not saying that I am an angel. You know, most of the time we all walk past and we don't know other people's story because we are so afraid of being scammed. But I realize that, you know, it starts with my intention. If I were to give you that money, what you do with that money is none of my business. So it has to start with us. We all as a society need to give a shit about what's happening around us with the people that, you know, needs help and not be so selfish. And then you idiots out there, I remember Wesley, I'm so sorry, you know, this is the way I speak. There was one occasion when you were in front of Orchard Towers, somebody in Orchard Road, somebody asked you about where Orchard Towers is, right? So, and when you speak to that person, they couldn't understand you. How did you feel about that?
I feel angry because I wanted to help them, but they ignore me.
Wesley, you know that all this conversation that you and I are having, I'm so embarrassed for us. I really am embarrassed. How can somebody with disability that wants to help us, and here we are walking as if I'm lost for words for us. So people need to know how you write the book. It took you 5 years to write this book. And I know it was revisiting like the horror stories of your life. I understand also you stopped for 2 years. Can you tell us why? Why did you stop for 2 years?
I feel
It hurts. He's hurting. He's hurting so much. Thinking of the thought. Yes,
This one I want to ask you, and you need to tell people, because I've been wanting to write a book since I don't know when, and I've got 8 fingers, 2 thumbs. You need to tell people how you wrote your book. With what?
I use my toe.
I use my toe.
To type.
I use my toe to type.
Oh my
In my iPad. Given by me.
Who gave you that?
My friend don't
My friend donate an iPad for me.
That's a big achievement, Wesley. And then here you
Thanks.
so here we are. We have kids that we send to school and complain about studying, and you struggle so hard, and you graduated with flying colors, and you were so sad because you had to stop school, and typing with your toes. My goodness, okay, I'm lost for words. Okay, so I want to ask you, like, in Asia, we have a very big stigma that we need to change, in the sense that anytime that we give birth to a disabled children, we look at that as a curse. Stupid people will ask, what did you do in your past life that you deserve this child? We are really backwards. We are really backwards. I mean, things have improved. Like Singapore government have built every level of HDB there is lifts. We also have ramps on buses, but the attitude of the people has not changed. Let's talk about the experiences with some of the bus drivers that you want to go to work. You take a bus. So when you stop in front of the bus, and the bus stops, and they look at you. Some of them, not all, most of them. Okay, let's talk about the bus driver's attitude.
Oh, they're not
Oh, they are nasty.
nothing. No, no,
They are not helpful. That's the word, nasty.
But they're not helpful in what way, Wesley?
No,
They are not helpful to help me.
to get me.
To get me in
In the bus.
in the bus.
You know,
They are not happy.
over the line.
They are not happy when they open the ramp. They would just open it, and it creates so much sound, and they don't even smile at him.
Okay, I want to go.
Okay, I want to
One day,
give an example. One day
we went to order.
we went to Orchard.
We want to go back. Almost go.
We wanted to go back Amokyo.
But we go MRT.
But when we go MRT,
No, the MRT better.
the MRT
Better.
broke down.
And we need to take back.
And we need to take bus behind Takashimaya.
Yeah, that's good thing right now.
Takashimaya.
Oh, many people.
Many people.
I cannot do it.
I cannot go in.
Okay.
There's so much people.
When you're getting,
When I get in,
I went to DDO
when I get into the bus, I went to City Hall
to get everyone.
to get 851 bus going to Ang Makyo.
Again, I went to everyone for 2 hours.
I wait for 851 for 2 hours. Then the bus came.
Because many people,
Because of many people,
the driver don't want to help me.
the driver don't want to help me. The driver just ignore Wesley.
I
With
am
a terrible
shocked.
face.
I am shocked at this. I am really shocked at this, guys. You know, I am seeking for your let's say your heart to grab his book and read, not for the sake of Wesley, but for our sake. It's called Finding Happiness Against the Odds. Wesley, I want to touch on this because it's not just the taxi driver, because I remember when you missed the school bus and it was pouring down with rain, when your mother pushed you to the bus driver did not want to help you to get on the bus. He left, and your mother was so pissed off at you, threw you on the grass and the rain beating on your face. People saw, people walk away, don't do anything. You were screaming as a child, you were beaten up to a pulp. None of the neighbors come and help you. So you were trapped and nobody. So what kind of society are we, people? What kind of people are we? We have changed from the village where we are all together in a village, raising a child. The whole village raised a child. Now we have become a society. We close our doors and mind your own business. No compassion, no nothing. Okay, that's my pet peeve. I'm so sorry. I'm so angry. So I want to talk about your dad was sick at the later part of his life, and you finally had a relationship with your father where you would, with your clenched fist, you would not punch him. Relax, everybody. You would massage him, right? And then let's talk about what your father said to you.
He said to me, sorry. He said sorry for everything.
So I read a part where your mother, you feel very, very sad. Of course, you know, you feel very sad. Your mother did not make an effort to get to know you, and also how your aim to get a relationship, have a relationship with your mother like you did with your father at the end of his journey of life, was not about was one of the most incredible stuff that I read. It wasn't about she seeking forgiveness to you, but you wanted her to know that you are able to forgive her. That is incredible, because
That's
you know
amazing.
that's amazing, because most of us, you can be so great with your heart that it was not about you, it was more about her, how you can forgive her. And I'm so sorry that I don't want to speak for your family, but I'm so sorry that they missed this opportunity. And you have excelled, and you have a tremendous willpower like most of us don't have. I want to ask, what are your hopes and your dreams?
My hope
My hope and my dream.
is
My hope is to open a shop,
Okay.
to
to sell my book, my shoes, many things, and many.
And I'm sure you are one step ahead, closer to all your dreams, because if nobody can, Wesley can. Oh, very smart.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, but the other thing that you talk about is you want to work out. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to address this. I want to address this, Wesley. So for a living, I also design gyms for hotels and for homes. So when I work for gyms overseas, there are two things that we have to look at, which is ADA, which is in the US is called American with Disability Act. And then in the UK, it's called DDA, Disability Discrimination Act. So when I design a gym, I have to put in mind that there has to be space and it's accessible for people with disabilities. We have not reached that here in Singapore yet, but we will find a way. We will give you one of that is the simplest dream, and we're going to make it work, because I know that you want to work out, because by working out also will give you strength. We will make it happen. Yeah, because I know people that's listening, they will. This is the simplest form of how we can make your dream come true. I want to thank you, Wesley. I want to talk to your wife for a couple of times, just a couple of questions. So, Lorena, this. Nobody wants to take this task. You took it 7 years ago. I admire you, because all of us, we love for a bit, and then we get restless and get frustrated. And I'm sure for you, you also have a lot. This is frankly speaking, a lot to care for somebody. It's unrealistic to say, no, it's not, right? But I want to ask you, why did you take this task and not his family? Why would you want to do that?
I don't know, but the first time I heard about Wesley, I have this so much compassion in my heart. I did everything to know him. I wanted to learn about him. I searched on him in the social media, and I just pray to God that it's basically by the grace and mercy of God. I pray to God that if He would give me the chance to meet this guy, I said that I will take care of him and accept him as my family. I will love him. So I have this so much compassion when I learn about Wesley. So yeah, hearing about what had happened to him, what is happening to him.
Okay, so I want to also ask. I mean, I'm going to ask this. It sounds so curt, but I know people are watching this and asking. You're not working. You're able body. Why won't you work?
I tried 3 times to work, but it's just that for a foreigner like me, I had to do work for 11 to 12 hours, or even a part time. It's because Wesley is handful. When he needs to wee wee, when he needs to use a bathroom, when he needs to eat, he needs to drink, I have to be there for him. And I'm a foreigner. If I work, I had to stay outside for 11 to 12 hours. I mean, we don't know when are we gonna use the toilet. We don't know when are we gonna get hungry. So I have to be there for Wesley all the time. And so, yeah, I do not want to miss that. When he needs to drink, I want to be there. So, yeah.
Right, because he can't even. There's a part of the story where he can't even turn the tap, and he was so thirsty, nobody will give him water.
Yes.
So you are
tried.
basically
He fell all the time. He tried, but he fell all the time. I don't want that to happen.
Right. And then I want to ask you also, you have been married for 7 years. So when you decided, I remember asking you, so why don't you take him back to the Philippines? Because it seems that people in the Philippines look after him better than we our own Singaporean. So you said that because Wesley wants to come back, and am I correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
So when you came back to Singapore, tell people about your experience. Where do you sleep?
Oh. Okay. Yeah. People would. Few friends would accept me in their house. Few friends would invite me, but not Wesley, because Wesley has a big wheelchair, and they're thinking that they don't have enough space for him, and he has to charge his wheelchair, and I mean those kind of thing. I mean, I would never sleep in the room in the house where I know Wesley is outside sleeping somewhere. I would never let that happen. So yeah, if they accept me and they don't accept Wesley, then we would go together. We would sleep wherever we can, in the park. I don't mind.
I really salute both of you. This is really a shocking story, and it's shocking to me because we are disgusting people. We are disgusting people, and we need to shape up. We have become a society that is so advanced in everything else, but backwards in humanity. So I want to read before we sign off, because this, I didn't know that we spoke so long. I want to read some of the comments, Wesley. He says, "Well done to emailing Prime Minister Lee in a culture where everyone is mocking government decisions. Moral of the story: there is a solution for everything."
Yes.
So you are the hero of Singapore. And then also Roslyn, I want to bring up Roslyn's comment. Roslyn says, "This interview is amazing, an emotional roller coaster. You all are doing an amazing job sharing this story. Thank you." It's not me, it's both of you, and Kim and Rina. Thank you so much for bringing Wesley in my face. So what kind, Rich Henderson, he's from the US, so you are being watched everywhere in the world. Rich Henderson is asking, what kind of books do you like? Horror story.
He loves to watch movie.
But do you read? Do you like reading books?
Yeah.
What kind? Love story, romantic story?
Not really. He said not
No,
really. Not really.
I'm more in the
I'm more
more.
I'm more in the news and a little of
Wow,
the
Wesley.
news.
I have to beat
So
my
he knows
children.
what's going on.
To beat my children to make them read the news, okay? So, Lorena, Richard also said, wow, his wife is just as remarkable, which is true.
God is good. Thank you.
God is good, yeah, and you are a pillar of hope for people with disabilities. And also, Wesley, you are a guy that give us a slap in the face, so we will wake up and not shun away from people that is to us normal, okay? Because you have the most normal heart that I've ever met, and I'm so proud to know you. So everyone,
Wesley is a strong guy.
yes,
Strong guy. Wesley is very strong.
Yeah,
So-
I did that.
Can I say something?
of course,
I know.
go ahead.
I hope
My government will give me up.
I hope my government
Will give my wife
will give my wife
PR.
PR.
Well, that's a bit political. So let's get your story out, and the more people hear, the more things will start happening. I'm so glad that you.
If you can, I can.
I want to say to people, if I can, you can.
This is like Nike slogan. But everybody, you're right. If you can, we all can, and we should listen to you because you know what you're talking about. You're a great motivational speaker for me, and I'm sure that we can work together in the muture, because we need people like you to shut people up from whining. We're gonna put up your book, where to get your book. You can buy your book online, and also they can come and see you and take pictures with you and get to know your story. I will put up your address after the show. So guys, don't forget Finding Happiness Against the Odds by Wesley Wee, aka Wesley Ken, aka John Boy. On that note, Wesley, thank you very much for being on my show, and I'll see you real soon.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Laila,
you.
for featuring us in your show. I mean, at
Yeah.
least, we get to, Wesley get to speak a little bit and tell the people that, by his book, it's an inspiring book. You will,
So guys, the book is cheap. We
will
we
inspire
eat.
you.
Yeah, the book is cheap, but the story is not. So go ahead and get the story and take a moment to. I think at the end of the book, you will gain a lot more than you will learn gratitude. That's for sure,
Right,
which
that's
I
right.
do, and it's a great
That's right.
reminder for us to be human. On that note,
Thank you, Laila.
Thank you, Laila.
you're welcome. You're welcome. So guys, Life by Laila ends now. And if you want to email me and you want to get in touch with Wesley, or any of topics that you want to talk about, or comments, or topics that you want to discuss, or even be on my show, please write to me, and I'll see you again next week. Bye from, oh, sorry. Hang on. I want Bill to say hello to you, Wesley. He's been typing away. So this is Bill.
What's up, Leslie? Wesley, what's up, dude?
We wanted to show you Kim.
Yes, Kim, come on. This is the famous Kim. This is Kim that helped Wesley as well. Incredible, incredible. Kim, before I leave, I have to say Singaporeans, they have foreigners helping our Singaporeans. So we got to buck it up, man. We got to buck it up. Okay, thank you guys. See you next week. Bye-bye.